Namaste and welcome to the fourth in our series of an introduction to Iyengar yoga with me, Sarah Agelasto. This class will be focused on a discussion or an emphasis on the sides of the body and the torso. So we'll be working through the poses today with an emphasis to try and keep the sides of the body equally lengthened. So we'll start today in Sukhasana. We'll start with the left shin crossed in front of the right. The shins are crossed in the center line. The feet are underneath the knees and slightly forward on the thighs. The hands can rest on the thighs. You're seated equally on the sit bones, the buttocks, the two sides of the buttocks. From here, we'll lengthen up, roll our shoulders back, lift our chest, lengthening the back of the neck, and keeping the face soft. Take your hands on the front of your knees, pull back on the knees, and allow this to help you lift the sides of your body. The shoulders roll back, the back body moves into the back, and the sides of the waist lift up. Maintain this length in the sides of the body, the torso, as you place your hands again on your thighs and lift your chest. Take a few deep breaths here, and you can gently close your eyes for a moment. Just noticing how your body feels in this shape. Feeling the weight in the legs and a softness in the inner legs. Roll the shoulders back. Feel a lift in the chest and a lightness in the spine as you reach out through the crown of the head. Maintain the lift in the chest as you place your hands in namaskar, in prayer in front of your heart. And use the base of the thumbs to help gently lift up the center of the chest as you roll the shoulders back. Maintaining the lift in the chest, bow your head towards your hands. Release the hands to the thighs. Lift the head and gently open the eyes. From here, we'll move into our standing positions. So we'll stand up. We'll remove our blankets from our sticky mat. And once again, we'll use a couple of blankets today, a couple of blocks if you have them, and a strap. So we'll start in Tadasana with the feet together. Lift and spread the toes. Find balance on the inner and outer edges of your feet. Balance yourself front to back. As you draw up on your kneecaps, lift up on the thighs, pressing the tops of the thigh bones back towards the back of the thighs. As you lengthen the tops of the buttocks down towards the floor, roll the shoulders back and away from the ears as you lift the sides of the body and reach the arms down from the shoulders. We'll take our arms overhead in this position in Urdhva upward hands pose. So we'll draw the arms forward, and as we discussed last week, we'll draw the outer upper arms in and the biceps out as we inhale and take the arms overhead by the ears. So notice how this helps to lengthen the sides of the body by taking the arms overhead. You might even be able to feel from the outer, all the way from the outer edges of your feet, across the outer legs, across the outer hips, all the way up through the sides of the body and out through the arms and fingertips. A big length in the entire body. Inhale and exhale, lower the arms down by the sides of the waist. And we'll practice Urdhva Anguli Asana, or upward bound fingers pose. So we'll interlace our fingers. Right thumb and forefinger are on top. And then press the palms forward as you stretch the elbows. And at the same time, draw the arms back into the shoulders. And then inhale and take the arms overhead by the ears. So the palms press evenly up towards the ceiling. The elbows are stretched. The armpits are stretched. And you might even be able to feel the entire outer sides of the body stretching, all the way from the outer feet up through the outer wrists. Inhale and exhale, lower the arms down, and we'll change the interlace of our fingers. So we'll take the left thumb and forefinger on top now and alternate evenly from there. And then press the palms forward again, stretching the elbows, draw the arms back into the shoulders, and then inhale and take the arms overhead. So the palms press evenly onto the ceiling. You can look up at your hands and see that the pinky side of the palm and the forefinger side of the palm are pressing up evenly towards the ceiling as you stretch the elbows, stretch the armpits, and stretch the sides of the waist. Inhale and exhale, lower the arms, bend the elbows, and release the hands back into Tadasana. We'll practice a balancing pose now called Virasana, or tree pose. So we practice this at the wall, which you can always use the wall if you need to for balance, but we'll practice it away from the wall if possible today. So stand steady on your feet. Find something in front of you at about eye level that's not moving that you can focus on. And then we'll take the weight into our left leg, bend the right knee, and place the sole of the foot on the leg, on the center of the left leg. So either below the knee or above the knee, you can place the foot. And then we'll take our hands into Namaskar. So again, prayer position, we'll press our hands evenly. Press the hands to roll the shoulders back and lift the chest as you stand firmly on the left leg. And then from here, we'll reach the arms up overhead into Urdhva. So the standing leg is steady as you reach the arms, and use the arms to help lengthen the side body and create lightness in the body as you balance on the standing leg. Inhale, exhale, take the hands back to the chest, and then release the foot back to Tadasana and reach the hands. Steady yourself again, and we'll practice the pose on the other side. So again, concentrate on something in front of you that's not moving. And we'll take the weight into the right foot now. Bend the left knee and place the sole of the foot, again, either below the knee or above the knee onto the top of the thigh in the center of the right leg. Press the foot against the right thigh and press that right thigh against the left foot to maintain a strong connection between the foot and the leg. And then we'll take our hands into Namaskar, prayer position in front of our hearts. Press the hands, roll the shoulders back, and start here by lifting the sides of the body, making the pose light. And then we'll extend the arms overhead into Urdhva. Again, lengthening the sides of the body, the torso, as you reach the arms up. The right leg is steady. The left knee extends out towards the left as you reach the arms up overhead. And then we'll take the hands back into Namaskar in front of our hearts. And then release the left foot and release the hands down by the sides of the body. Take a moment here, reconnecting with Tadasana, mountain pose. Press the feet and lift the kneecaps as you lift upon the thighs. Lift the chest, roll the shoulders back, and lengthen out through the crown of the head. The next pose we'll practice is called Utthita Trikanasana, triangle pose. So you've done this pose before, but make sure you've got your blocks for support. And we'll start in Tadasana. Inhale the fingertips up, and then step or hop the arms and legs wide apart. And then we'll turn the right leg and foot out. We'll turn the back foot in slightly. And then we'll take our right hand to the top of the right thigh. Right at the top of the thigh where it connects with your pelvis, there's a little crook there where your thumb and forefinger will fit right into the top of that crook. And as you come into the pose, I want you to press into the top of the thigh as you lengthen out over the right leg and maintain the length in the lower right side of the body as you come down. At some point, you won't be able to come any further, so you'll take your hand down onto your block, but maintain the top of that thigh moving back, the side of the body moving towards the crown of the head, and keeping both sides of the waist even as you reach out through the arms from the shoulders and reach out through the crown of the head. And then press your feet and inhale, come back up to standing. We'll turn the feet back to parallel. And we'll turn to the left. So we'll turn the left leg and foot out. The back foot turns in slightly. And then you'll take the left hand to the top of the left thigh, right at the top of the left thigh where it meets the pelvis. And maintain the hand in the top of that thigh as you inhale and exhale, reaching out over the left leg, pressing your hand into the top of the thigh and keeping both sides of the waist lengthened as you come down into the pose. Place your hand onto your support and maintain that length on both sides of the waist, lifting up through the center of the chest, reaching out through the crown of the head as you reach out through the arms, externally rotating the arms, moving the shoulders away from the ears and stretching from the shoulders. And then pressing your feet, inhale, come back up, turn the feet back to parallel and step or hop the arms and legs back to Tadasana. Stand for a moment in Tadasana. Roll the shoulders back and lift the chest. And the next pose we'll practice is called Virasana 2. Again, another pose you've done. You won't need your blocks, so make sure they are out of the way. And then we'll inhale the fingertips up. Step or hop, arms and legs wide apart. We'll turn the right leg and foot out. The back foot turns in slightly. And this time, we'll take the left hand and place it at the top of the left thigh. So right at the top of the left thigh, again, there's a little indentation that happens at the top of the thigh. And we'll use that, we'll press into that to keep the left side of the body lifting up and lengthened. So, keeping the outer edge of the back foot pressing, inhale, exhale, press into the top of the left thigh and bend the left knee. So you're moving from the top of that left thigh to bend the right knee. The shoulders back and both sides of the waist are uplifted. So we're not leaning forward towards the right leg. Both sides of the waist are lifted. And then you can reach the left arm back behind you and imagine that somebody's pulling the left hand behind you as you bend deeper into the right knee. So you stay upright in the pose. And then inhale, straighten the legs, turn the feet parallel, and we'll turn the left leg and foot out. We'll turn the back foot in slightly. We'll take the right hand now to the top of the right thigh. Press firmly into the outer edge of the right foot. And as you bend the knee, press into the top of the right thigh and move that right knee from that right thigh. So both sides of the waist are lifted and lengthened as the left knee bends deeply. And then reach the right arm back at the shoulder and imagine that somebody is gently tugging onto your fingers to maintain that lift and uprightness in the chest. So you stay more upright as opposed to leaning towards the left leg. And then straighten the left leg, turn the feet parallel, and step or hop back to Tadasana. So stand firmly on the feet, lifting the sides of the waist up as you reach the arms down. And we'll practice Utthita Parsvakonasana, extended side angle pose. And we'll use what we just did in those last two poses and re-emphasize them here in this pose. So we'll inhale the fingertips up, step or hop, the arms and legs wide apart. Turn the right leg and foot out, the back foot in slightly. You can take your hand to the top of the left thigh as you reach the right arm out. Inhale, press into the top of the left thigh as you bend the right knee, coming towards Virasana 2. And then imagine that you've got your hand in the top of the right thigh as you reach out over the right leg. Place your hand onto your block. And then maintain both sides of the waist, evenly reaching out through the crown of the head. You can reach the left arm up, opening the chest, stretching from the shoulders to open the chest, and then externally rotate the left arm and stretch the arm overhead. So extended side angle pose, all the way from the outer edge of the the left foot, out through the left arm. And then take the arm back up, press the feet, and inhale back up to standing. Turn the feet parallel, and then turn the left leg and foot out, the back foot in slightly. Take the left hand to the top of the right hand to the top of the right thigh. Inhale and exhale and press into the top of that right thigh as you bend the left knee. Inhale and exhale, reach out over the left leg. Place your hand down onto your support. Maintaining the two sides of the waist, evenly extending up towards the crown of the head. And then reach the right arm up. So you're stretching from the chest. Externally rotate the right arm and extend the right arm over the ear. Extended side angle pose. Shows you should feel an extension all the way from the outer edge of the back foot through the fingertips, and both sides of the waist are lengthened long. And then press the feet and inhale, come back up. We'll turn the feet parallel and step or hop the arms and legs back to Tadasana. So we'll practice a new pose. We practiced it at the wall last week, but we'll practice it in the middle of the room today. So this pose is called Utkatasana, or fierce pose. We'll practice the pose with the feet apart, hip distance, and we'll reach the arms forward, externally rotating the arms, and inhale the arms overhead. And then keeping the arms lifted, keeping the sides of the waist long, we'll inhale and exhale and bend the knees. We'll take the tailbone down towards the floor. We'll take the outer hips down towards the floor, the buttocks down towards the floor as you keep the chest lifted. And then press the feet and inhale, exhale, lower the arms back down. I'll demonstrate the pose from the side. The intention here is to keep the torso upright, just like you did at the wall. It's a little bit harder out in the middle of the room, but that's the intention. So again, we'll have our feet hip distance apart. We'll reach the arms forward, drawing the arms into the shoulder sockets as we take the arms overhead by the ears and feel the length in the sides of the body, lengthen the torso as you reach the arms overhead. We'll inhale and then exhale, bend the knees and extend the tops of the buttocks down towards the floor as if you were going to sit into a chair. The thighs move down towards the floor and the chest stays lifted as you lengthen both sides of the waist. And then inhale, straighten the legs, and exhale, lower the arms. Good. Now we'll practice Parsvottanasana. So the way that we'll practice this pose, just so that we're limiting some of the back and forth, is that we'll place 2 blocks at the top of our mat. And I'm going to introduce a prop called a wedge. Now, many of you won't need this pose. Many of you won't need this prop. And if you don't have a prop that's similar to this and you do need it, you can use a rolled sticky mat or possibly a blanket. You can just put the rounded edge of a blanket onto your sticky mat to simulate this prop. But I'm going to use it because I have an injury in my back. And so my pelvis doesn't have as much flexibility as I would like it to. So, but you can do the pose without the prop. I'm just going to use the prop. So this pose is called Parsvottanasana, or an intense stretch of the sides of the body pose. It's also translated as an intense stretch to the side. So, to do this pose, we'll step forward with the right leg and back with the left leg, placing the heel down onto the floor, the sticky mat, or a wedge if you need it. We practice this pose at the wall, and we spend a lot of time emphasizing pressing down into the outer edge of the back foot to take that left hip forward and into the inner edge of the front foot to take that right hip back. So we're moving the pelvis so that we can make the sides of the body even and lengthened, or mostly even. So the legs press, the shoulders are back. We'll lift the chest, lift the sides of the waist, inhale and exhale, come forward, and we'll place our hands onto the blocks. Once here, some of you may not need this much height. You can use a little bit less height. But what we want in the pose is for the spine, the back body, to be concave as opposed to convex. So to demonstrate, this is a convex position. So the back is rounded. If I come up a little bit higher and press into the fingertips, I can create more of a concavity of the spine. So we want to maintain that. The shoulders are back and both sides of the waist are moving forward towards the crown of the head. And then exhale the hands to the waist. Inhale, come back up. We'll step the left leg to the middle of the mat, the right leg back. And we'll practice the pose on the other side. So we'll take the left leg forward and the right leg back. You're still in the heel to arch orientation of the feet in this position, but the back leg is turned more towards 60 degrees as opposed to just slightly turned in. The shoulders are back, The outer right foot presses to take the right hip forward. The inner left foot presses to take the left hip back. So we're squaring the hips towards the wall in front of us. The shoulders are back, the chest lifts. Inhale, exhale, come forward onto your support. And again, once you're here, press down into your support, roll the shoulders back, and move the shoulder blades and the back body into the back, creating a concavity in the spine. And still working with the hips, the outer hip forward, the right hip forward, the left hip back, to create evenness on both sides. We'll exhale the hands to the waist. Inhale, come back up. Step the right leg to center, the left leg back to center. And we'll practice that one more time. So we'll take the right leg forward, the left leg back. Outer left hip presses to take the left hip forward. Back leg stretches straight. Inner right foot presses to take the right hip back. The shoulders roll back. The chest is lifted. Inhale, exhale, come forward. Placing the hands underneath the shoulders. Once there, press the hands down and roll the shoulders back and lengthen the sides of the waist forward towards the wall in front of you. The legs are stretched straight. Exhale the hands to the waist. Inhale, come up. Step the back leg, the left leg forward, and the right leg back. And one more time on the other side. The left leg steps forward, the right leg steps back. Find your balance. Outer heel presses, outer right heel presses, taking the right hip forward. Inner left foot presses, taking the left hip back, squaring the hips towards the wall in front of you, and then roll the shoulders back, lifting the chest, creating a lot of space on the front and sides of the body. As you inhale and exhale, come forward, placing the hands underneath the shoulders, press the hands down, roll the shoulders back, and move the sides of the body and the chest forward towards the wall in front of you. Maintaining the length in both sides of the waist. And then exhale the hands to the hips. Inhale, come back up. Step the right leg forward and the left leg back to Tadasana. And we'll practice another pose that we practiced at the wall last week called Virasana 1 or Warrior 1 pose. Again, I'm going to use the wedge. You can use a rolled sticky mat, you can use a blanket, or if you've got a wedge, you can use the wedge, so that the back heel can press into something. So again, some of you may not need the wedge. Most of you may not need the wedge, but it's an option. So we'll come into the pose the same way we did Parsvottanasana. So we'll step the right leg forward and the left leg back. The left foot can reach for the wedge or the sticky mat. The left heel presses to take the left hip forward. The right inner edge of the foot presses to take the right hip back. The shoulders roll back and away. And we'll keep the back leg pressing down onto the floor as you bend the right knee. And then, keeping the chest lifted, keeping the legs, the sides of the waist lifted, we'll reach the arms forward, externally rotate the arms, and inhale, take the arms overhead, using the arms to create length in the torso, lengthen the sides of the body as you bend the right knee. And then straighten the right leg, lower the arms, step the left foot forward, and the right leg back. And then again on the left, we'll take the left foot forward, right leg back. You can have your hands on your waist as you press the outer right heel into the floor, rolling that outer right hip forward. Press the left big toe mound, inner edge of the foot into the floor, and take the left hip back. The chest is lifted, the shoulders will roll back and away from the ears as you inhale and exhale and bend the left knee. So the back leg stretches straight, ideally onto your wedge or onto the floor. The shoulders roll back, the chest is lifted. Reach the arms from the shoulders. Draw the arms into the shoulder sockets as you inhale and take the arms overhead. Using the arms to lengthen the right and left sides of the body as you bend deeply into the left leg. And then straighten the left leg. Step the right leg forward, left leg back, and lower the arms. Let's practice that one more time. So we'll take the right foot forward and the left leg back. Pressing into the outer edge of the left foot, take the left hip forward. Pressing into the inner edge of the right foot, take the right hip back, squaring the pelvis as best as possible towards the wall in front of you. The shoulders roll back and away as you lift the side body and lift the chest. Inhale and exhale, bend the right knee, taking the knee over the right ankle as you stretch the left leg back. And then reach the arms forward. Externally rotate the arms as you inhale and take the arms overhead. So reach the arms to lengthen the sides of the body as you lift up through the crown of the head. And then straighten the right leg, lower the arms, step the left foot forward and the right leg back. And one more time on the left leg, we'll step the left foot forward and the right leg back. Find your balance. Press into the outer edge of the right foot, turning that right hip forward. Press into the inner edge of the left foot, drawing up on the kneecap and thigh and taking that left hip back. Roll the outer shoulders back and away as you lift up on the sides of the waist. Inhale, exhale, bend the left knee, stretching the right heel back towards the wedge or towards the floor as you bend the left leg deeply. The shoulders back and away from the ears as you reach the arms forward, and inhale, take the arms overhead. So reach the arms, reach the sides of the waist, and lift the chest. So you stretch the right leg back, and then straighten the left leg, lower the arms, step the right leg forward, and the left leg back. And we'll stand in Tadasana. All right, so we'll move the wedge out of the way, and we'll move the blocks to the back of our mat again. And we'll come down to seated and to the floor. So the next pose we'll practice is called Virasana, or hero's pose. So this is a variation or a next step from Virasana, which we have been practicing, where the toes are together and the heels are apart. In this pose, we'll keep the knees and thighs together, but we'll separate the feet and sit down in between our feet. So you can place a blanket down onto your sticky mat if you need it. My sticky mat is pretty thick, so I don't need padding under my knees. But I'll use a blanket from the pile folded in half lengthwise to sit down on. So to come into the pose, you'll kneel down, take your knees together, your thighs together, and you'll separate the feet basically a block's width apart. So you can also use the block if you need a little more height, and I'll show you that. But to come into the pose, you can take your hands behind your knees and just stretch the calf flesh a little bit away from the backs of the knees, creating some space as you sit down in between your feet. So your feet are right beside your hips, the toes point backwards, and you can sit down in between your feet. If you need a little more support, you can use a block instead of the blanket, or in addition to the blanket, or you can use 2 blocks if you need to. So the knees are together, the thighs are together. Just pull the flesh of the calves a little bit away from the backs of the knees to create some space. And then you can sit down onto your block. Both sit bones should be on the block. So the block is widthwise as opposed to lengthwise. So you've got a little more space there. And then again, you can take your hands forward onto your knees, onto your tops of your thighs, and pull your hands back to help lift the chest. So creating a length in the sides of the body. And then we'll interlace our fingers. So the right thumb and forefinger on top, Urdhva Anguli Asana, or upward fingers pose in Virasana, also called Parsvottanasana in Virasana. Press the palms forward and inhale, take the arms overhead to create length in the torso, length in the sides of the body. The thighs move down towards the floor, the buttocks move down towards the floor, the tops of the feet and shins move down towards the floor. They press down to the floor as you press the palms up. And then lower the arms, bend the elbows, change the interlace, so the left thumb and forefinger on top. As you press the palms forward, stretch the elbows, draw the arms back into the shoulders. As you inhale and take the arms overhead. So the palms press evenly. Again, you can take a look at your palms and see that the pinky side and the forefinger side are pressing up towards the ceiling evenly. And use the arms to lengthen the sides of the body. Keep the body lifted and light as the legs move down towards the floor. Inhale and exhale, bend the elbows or lower the arms, bend the elbows and release the interlace. And then to come out of the pose, you'll come forward just like we did in Virasana. You can remove your block, if you have a block, cross the ankles behind you, take your hands back and sit back behind your crossed ankles as you take your legs forward. I'm gonna move my blanket a little bit so you can keep this fold if you have it and take the rounded edge towards you, and we'll sit in Tadasana. So sitting on your sit bones, stretch the legs out in front of you, take your hands by the sides of the waist, press the hands down, press the heels of the hands down, and use that to help lift the side body as you take the shoulders back and away from the ears. So the back body moves in, the tops of the thighs press down as you reach out through the feet. So pressing the hands down to create as much length in the sides of the body as possible. And then maintain that. We'll take the arms forward and up into Urdhva and Tadasana. So the arms are externally rotated. As you inhale and draw the arms overhead, again creating length in the torso, length in the sides of the body. Reach the arms up, stretching all the way from the outer hips out through the fingertips. Inhale and exhale, lower the arms back to Tadasana. So the next pose we'll practice is called Utkatasana, or downward facing dog pose. We practiced this pose last week at the wall, and we'll do it in the middle of the room. So we'll start with the knees apart, the toes together in Adho Mukha Virasana, or downward facing hero's pose, to get our distance. So the hips move towards the heels, the arms stretch overhead. And then we'll come on to all fours. The fingertips this time are facing forward. The knees, you can draw them towards one another underneath the hips or in line with the width of the hips. The feet are the same, they're hip width. Press the roots of the palms into the floor. Press the fingers into the floor. Externally rotate the arms, the upper arms, and take the shoulders away from the ears and the shoulder blades into the back as you stretch the chest forward. Maintain that as you turn the toes underneath and press the hands to lift the hips up. So the arms stretch straight as you press your chest towards the legs, and then the heels press down towards the floor. So the backs of the knees are open, the kneecaps are lifted, and the thighs press back as you reach the heels down towards the floor. There should be a lot of length on both sides of the waist as you press your hands and reach the hips up towards the ceiling. And then bend the knees and come down to rest in child's pose. So the hips move back, the arms stretch overhead, and even here, feeling how the arms overhead are lengthening the sides of the waist as you reach the hips down towards the heels. And then we'll practice that one more time. We'll come on to all fours. Press the palms, press the fingers. The middle finger is stretched towards the top of the mat. Pointed towards the top of the mat as you stretch each of the fingers wide from there. Firmly press the palms. Externally rotate the arms and take the shoulders away from you. Separate the feet and take the knees and feet hip distance apart. Maintain the pressure of the hands into the floor and the external rotation of the arms as you turn the toes under and lift the hips. Press the hands, stretch the elbows, stretch the arms as you take the chest towards the legs, lengthening the hips up and lengthening the sides of the body, and then extend the heels down towards the sticky mat. The inner and outer edges of the heels press firmly as you draw up on the kneecaps, opening the backs of the knees and pressing the thighs back. And then bend your knees and come back to child's pose. And then sit yourself up, and we will lie down onto our back and practice a couple poses on our back. The first pose we've practiced, it's called Urdhva Prasarita Padasana, or upward extended feet pose. So we'll lie down on our back. Make sure you don't have anything in your way overhead. Lie down on your back, move the shoulder blades down the back, move the buttocks towards the heels, stretch the arms by the sides of the waist, and use the arms here just like you do in Tadasana. Stretch the arms down and lift the chest up. And we'll bend our knees so that the thighs are perpendicular to the floor. Extend already through the feet, the inner edges of the feet, as you extend the legs up to 90 degrees. So you can practice this pose as we've done before with a strap around the legs if you need to. Otherwise, extend the legs up, draw the abdomen towards the spine, and continue to reach the arms by the sides of the waist to lift the chest. And then we'll bend the knees and place the feet on the floor. This time we'll further extend the sides of the body by taking the arms overhead by the ears. If that's too much, or if this last pose already felt like enough work for your abdomen and your legs, you can stay with the first variation. Otherwise, we'll start the same way, knees up to perpendicular to the floor, and then extending through the feet, extend the legs up to 90 degrees, reaching from all the way from the top of the groin all the way out through the legs, out through the inner line of the legs as you reach the feet up towards the ceiling. And then maintaining that, we'll reach the arms overhead by the ears. So reaching the arms overhead by your ears, using the arms to lengthen the sides of the body. Still drawing the sides of the waist down, the abdomen towards the spine as you reach the legs up. Inhale and exhale, lower the arms, bend the knees, and place the feet on the floor. So if the arms don't come all the way down to the floor, you can use a blanket overhead so that you have something to place your hands on. So we'll try that one more time. Lengthen the shoulder blades down the back, the tailbone down towards the heels, outer shoulders down to the floor. Reach the arms from the shoulders. Draw the knees up to 90 degrees, perpendicular to the floor, and then stretch the legs up towards the ceiling. Stretching the backs of the legs up towards the heels, the top thighs back towards the backs of the thighs. And then on an inhale, take the arms overhead, palms up towards the ceiling, and you can create height with blankets so that you can reach your arms down onto something if they don't go all the way to the floor. So the arms stretch straight, the palms up towards the ceiling, the sides of the body are long, the legs reach up towards the ceiling. Inhale and exhale, take the arms back down by the sides, bend the knees, and place the feet on the floor. Then we'll take our strap. We'll open up the strap and place the ends of the strap in either hand. And then we'll draw our right knee in towards our chest for Supta Padangustasana, or Supine Big Toe Pose. Place the strap around the sole of the right foot as you extend the right leg up towards the ceiling. As you do this, draw the outer right hip away from you, creating more space on the right side of the body. So as we take the foot closer to us, the leg closer to us, there's a tendency to collapse that right side of the body. So extend the outer right hip away from you as you reach the right leg up towards the ceiling. Draw the arms down into the shoulders and lift the chest. And then extend the left leg down to the floor in Tadasana, as if you were pressing both of your feet onto a wall or the ceiling. So the right leg, it's as if you're pressing the right leg into the ceiling so that both sides of the foot are evenly pulling down towards the floor. And the left foot is against the wall as if you're pressing that foot into the wall, just like we did last week. The outer right hip moves away from you, and the right and left sides of the body are long. And then we'll remove the strap and lower the right foot to the floor. Just pause for a moment, noticing the difference in the two sides of the body. And then we'll bend our knees again and place the strap over the ball of the left foot for Supta Padangustasana. So ultimately, we're reaching for that big toe of the left foot, but for now, we've got our strap around the ball of the foot. The leg stretches straight up towards the ceiling. The foot stretches straight up towards the ceiling. And the outer left hip draws away from you, creating length on the left side of the body. The back of the left knee is open. The top of the left thigh presses towards the back of the left thigh, and the foot stretches up towards the ceiling. And then we'll extend the right leg and foot onto the floor. So the top of the right leg presses down, the top of the right knee presses down, and it's as if the right foot is pressing into the wall, just like we did in the last class. The outer left hip moves away from you as you reach the left foot up towards the ceiling evenly. And then we'll remove the strap from the left foot and lower the left leg to the floor and just pause for a minute. And then we'll bend our legs, bend our knees, and roll over onto the right side. And then carefully press ourselves up. And we'll move into final relaxation pose. So we'll take a blanket and place the blanket onto our sticky mat. Opening up the blanket lengthwise, and we'll do our best to iron out the wrinkles in our wrinkly blanket as we stretch it across our sticky mat. And then we'll place a blanket at the top of your sticky mat for your head. And then setting yourself up in the center of your sticky mat, so the legs are together, the knees are together, lie down onto your sticky mat or onto your blanket. Place the blanket for your head if you're going to use it. And then looking down the line of the body, you can see that the legs are centered. Lengthen the back of the neck as you take your head onto the blanket or onto the ground. Externally rotate your arms, moving the outer shoulders down, moving the shoulders down the back, lengthening the buttocks towards the heels, the backs of the legs towards the heels, and then relax the legs away from you, away from one another, equidistant from the center line of the body. Taking a few moments to settle in. You can close your eyes. And consciously relax your body. You can start at your feet, relaxing the feet, relaxing the shins and the calves, relaxing the knees and the thighs, the fronts of the thighs, the quadriceps, and the backs of the thighs, the hamstrings, relaxing the buttocks, the abdomen, the chest, the back body, the shoulders, the upper arms, the forearms, the hands, the neck and throat, the jaw and cheekbones, the eyes gently recede back towards the back of the brain, the temples and forehead relax, everything relaxes, and we'll enjoy a few moments of silence. And remembering that you can stay for as long as you like in Shavasana, corpse pose. taking the time you need to absorb all the work that you've incorporated today in your practice. But for now, we'll begin to come out by deepening our breath, gently waking the body up with the deeper breaths. And then we'll rest both of our palms on our abdomen. And we'll bend our knees, placing the soles of the feet on the floor. Pausing there, not moving quickly. And then when you're ready, slowly moving over onto your right side, pausing there. And then carefully pressing yourself up to a comfortable seated position, using your blanket from your head to sit on. You can sit again in Sukhasana, or easy pose. Just taking a moment to notice the changes in your physical body from the beginning of the class. And again, we'll take our hands on the fronts of our knees. We'll pull our hands against our knees to one more time, lengthen the sides of the body, and lift the chest. And then maintaining that, we'll take our hands into Namaskar, prayer in front of our hearts, pressing the palms evenly into one another as the base of the thumbs gently lifts the center of the chest up. And keeping that lift in the chest, we'll bow our heads towards our hands, acknowledging the light that exists within each one of us. Namaste. Lifting your head, opening your eyes. Thank you all for being here today. We'll see you next time.